Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the midday show. I'm your host, Coach Riz. Will be taking over for Mike here in the midday session. It is Thursday, March 5th, and the markets are navigating a landscape defined by extreme global political volatility. As the conflict in the Middle East enters its sixth day, we are seeing a dramatic divergence between risk assets and commodities. Here's what's moving the tape. Tech struggles under inflationary heat. The NASDAQ composite is down 0.4% this morning as the early week relief rally fizzles out. While tech giants like Microsoft, Nvidia are seeing high volume, the broader index is being weighed down by a tactical correction signal that just flashed for the first time in 2 years. The primary pressure? Inflation. With crude oil prices skyrocketing, investors are betting that the Federal Reserve will have to keep interest rates higher for longer to combat rising energy costs. Market expectations for a rate cut have now been pushed back to September, leaving high growth tech stocks in the line of fire. Crude oil supply chokehold at Hormuz. Crude oil is the story of the day. WTI has jumped over 3%, hitting a 3-month high near 78.50 a barrel, while Brent is trading north of $84. The driver is purely supply side fear. Reports of explosions near tankers in the Persian Gulf and the disruption of shipping through the Straits of Hormuz have traders on edge, with Saudi Aramco rerouting exports to the Red Sea and Iraq slashing output due to storage limits. The global supply chain is tightening by the hour. For Americans, the impact is hitting the pump immediately. The national gas average has surged to $3.25 per gallon and a 10% jump in just 1 week. Gold is showing a classic crisis colors, but facing stiff resistance while it remains elevated near 5,100 to 5,150 per ounce due to safe haven demand from the Iran conflict. The upside is being capped by stronger US dollar and rising treasury yields. Investors are flocking to bullion to hedge against the war and energy stocks inflation. But as long as the dollar stays near the 99 level, the yields hover at above 4%. The opportunity cost of holding non-yielding gold is keeping the bulls in check. Analysts are watching the 5,200 level closely. A break above that could signal a run towards all-time highs. So keep an eye on gold. If we start tapping those upper levels, we might see that crazy expansion up to the upside on gold. You could see a runner. In short, it's a risk-off environment. Energy is the driver, inflation is the fear, and NASDAQ is the victim. We'll keep you updated with the situation in the Gulf as it develops. And that's your morning moves for what's moving the market today, traders. I've had a pretty good morning so far in the morning session. I think we're greening all the accounts. I'm flat in like 2 accounts. So it's the midday session, so you guys know it gets a little choppy, a little bit more difficult to trade this session. So we've got about 15 minutes left for London Power Hour. NASDAQ still testing the 25K to see if it can hold it or if it's going to falter and continue more downside. Bitcoin has been selling here in the morning session down, let's see, what are we down? 2.32% for the morning session. You've got NASDAQ down 0.59. You've got ES down 0.85. Crude oil green 6.78 and gold down 0.88%. Take a look at the heat map, see what's happening in the heat map. More red than green for sure, here in the midday session. If you guys are looking for upside, what tech names can give us that move to the upside? Could possibly be Nvidia, maybe Microsoft. I'd like to see Tesla maybe do something, but we'll have to see what happens. The Dow is still selling and showing that sellers are in control of the Dow. Let's take a look at RTY and see how it's holding up. It's the same story here. Looks like two of the sisters are already in the downside. It's been like this for most of the morning session. Not a lot of confidence in the Russell and the Dow in the morning, and you could see that translating to into NQ. NQ has been lagging most of this move, though. It has been the lagger in the morning session. Let's take a look at ES and see what the trend is looking like on it. A little bit cleaner for the morning session, maybe even an easier trade. I'm getting short signals now on NQ. Let's go back to NQ and take a gander at it. Renko's have us with a sell signal that popped up about 7 minutes ago. So we've got red candles down to the downside. So let's see how this downside move plays out for us. Let's see if we're going to hold and get really down under that 25K. We're about 40 points below 25K now. So really interesting spot. Looks like the Brits across the pond aren't as interested in carrying this market or even rolling in contracts into tomorrow's session. So, but, like we said, it looks like more of a risk-off day, people going to safe havens, where else they can stash their money to avoid taking losses. I myself have, my options trade down a little bit today. Not too bad, but, actually had taken a nasty hit, was able to make a little money back, took a short on BTC, so missed out on my upside push on the options chain, but we were already long. We were already short in some other positions in futures. So how'd everybody do in the morning? Anybody make some money? Anybody pass some evals today? And don't forget, team, we still have our flash sale. Take advantage of $100 accounts active till Friday, March 6th at market close. That's right, $100 accounts, $100 100K premiums, $100 200K statics, $100K 300 statics. So what are you waiting for today? Use Flash 100, Flash 200, or Flash 300, depending on the account size you're buying. We've also got Instant Sim funded for 200% off. And we also have direct to funded accounts, 20% off. So check those out today. If you guys are looking for some specials, Makaram and the rest of our marketing team have some great specials going on. It is March Madness. Hey, who's doing any March Madness brackets? Anybody doing any March Madness brackets? Also, traders, if you guys are looking for a little added bonus and maybe a little opportunity that you might snag yourself some swag or something, but a little birdie told us that if someone would like to volunteer for our podcast for next week, there might be a little reward in for them. Unfortunately, I don't know what that reward is, so it's going to be a surprise grab bag for whoever that person may be. So if you guys are interested in joining our podcast and being a guest, and just it's a 5 to 10 minute spot, depending on how much you've got that you want to talk about or share. We'd love to have you. We've got a fantastic community of traders that have been with us for a long time. I've been part of Blue Sky for a little over 2 years myself. And I know we've got some traders in here that have been in here just as long, if not longer. And we'd love to hear your trading story, your journey, what brought you to us, what keeps you around, what feeds your fuel and keeps you fighting in the market, or talk about your edge. Let us know what works for you, what you have found to be a great strategy or a method that has helped you navigate the investment markets. We'd love to hear that we'd love to hear your story, or more about you folks. So if anybody in the group would love to chime in or tell a little about themselves, we'd love to hear from you all. My DMs and all the other coaches are DMs are open. Reach out to anybody from here at the Blue Sky staff, and they can direct you to the right person to get in contact with to get you scheduled. Nice. Let's go. Just passed an eval. I just passed another eval. Ah, let's go. What a great morning. Let's go. That's fantastic. And all I need is 5, what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 5, 6, 7, 7, 700 and a quarter. And I pass another 25K. Not bad. Two 25Ks this week I've already passed. Oh, that would be my other account. Let's see. Let's creep on over there. Man, I should have probably left that. That probably would have paid me more. We'll take what we get, though. We'll take what we get. Too much money to leave on the table. What a crazy day. Let's see how much I'm up in. What? You can take a trade in this? Oh, man, I tell you. Getting a little bit of a rejection here. You guys can see that now. They're trying to hold us above the 25K. If we get that 25K, that's great. That means we might see that upside. Let's take a look at what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin has been holding this low. I kind of like this. Maybe we'll see a bounce up on it and it'll start to reclaim some of the mid morning area range. 71,774 might present an opportunity for us. Although ES is still holding the low, didn't even catch as much of a bid the way NASDAQ did. Market looking gross though. It might be a choppy session, here going into lunch. So, we didn't get much of a movement on the market. And Q is holding the EMAs here. Looks like they want to converge and maybe hold the market and push it up. If you're looking for an upside target on NAS, I would be looking at 25,029. If you're looking for up, if you're trading to the downside, maybe a push down to 24,965. That would be 25,29. Oh, Renko's got the green box already formed. Should have that continuation. It might just be a slow grind. Now you're starting to get that move here on the NAS. Hmm. Well, we reject here. Well, we reject that 25K. That's what we're fighting right now, Nas. You want to see us get that candle to close above it to give you that continuation to reclaim 25K. You know, that's just a big psychological level for us. The good thing about 25K is that if we can't get above it, then we already know what's going to happen. They're just going to start sending us and we'll create new intraday lows. I don't think so, though. There's that rejection of the 25K happening. Let's go over to a regular chart. Let's change this off of Renko's. You know, this is just giving us a confluence that we're going to continue seeing upside. So we get that red candle box below, and you can kind of see here on the one we're in the same range. Look at that. We got this range here. This is all just a range we can't break above or beyond or below. So you either want to break above 2584 or you want that break below at 24,926. So if you wanted that real like expansion move, you got to get it outside of that. Otherwise, you're going to have to find the low on top of this range and just scalp that. Am I up in this? Okay, good. Like you got a resistance level at 24,992. Breaking through some of these support levels below us. And EMA to this. There we go. I like that. I like that. I think the only thing I'm missing on this I'd like is my timer. What do you guys think? We'll add a timer to this. I love to know what time the candles are going. Getting more short signals on the NAS. It's just because we're under 25K. And sorry for me, you know, I want to for a more high confidence play for me. I want to see rejection off the 200. So I'm going to be waiting for that. Man, Riz, I'm not going to lie. I messed up today, caught myself overscaling at the high, but I was able to short it back, getting my gains with some profits. Let's go, bro. Let's go. You know, Nacho, the best thing I can say is understand like the emotions and what you were going through in that instance and just understand it and just try to keep your mind clear. like what you did and find just like a base mind, like, no, Nacho, I need to pull this together. Don't find that next entry, because the last thing you want to do is just like, oh, well, I just went short and I got stopped out. Let me go long. Oh, I just got stopped out. I just took another $100 loss. Let me go back, start that flip flop process, and we're not making pancakes here, so we don't need that flip flop, we want to make a cake. We want to put it in. We want to leave it in for a while so that when we pull it out, it comes out beautiful. Best thing I can suggest is just, remember what happened today with your scaling and size down, I took a couple of trades with some friends of mine this morning, and they were just freaking out because, I had a single MNQ con that I was up like $198 just a little bit ago. And and they were like, why aren't you scaling more? And I was like, what for? Why do I need to scale in more? Who does that? That doesn't serve anybody but, I guess, you or someone else. Because for me, if I'm in like 4 or 5 accounts and I'm up $200, well, what more can I ask for? If I'm in 3 accounts up $200, I mean, it's $600. That's $600. Most average people are making $600 in a day for an hour's worth of labor. Nacho, it's all about longevity. And when you guys first get into trading, everybody talks about those base hits, right? Base hits. And you're like, man, the heck with you and your base hits. I get it. Most traders are going to want to say that. They're going to be like, man, I'm not here for that. I'm here to change my life. But changing your life doesn't come overnight. I've been doing this for a very long time. And I mean, I was fortunate because my life was already kind of where I wanted it to be. But, from when I've been trading to now, my life hasn't drastically changed. It's pretty much very similar to the way it's always been, And for me to do something to make it to where like I could be living the yacht life and stuff like that, I don't want that kind of stress, and I'll have time to build up for it. And I've taken my time. I've kept my losses low. I didn't spend a whole metric ton of money in evals and prop accounts learning. I didn't. My first year that I was learning, I think I spent about $6,000 in the year in evals, maybe the first year and a half. I think it was right around that range. And then all of a sudden I started making money and getting payouts. And, the payouts made up for my investment very quickly. It was a very quick turnaround to make up. And I was trading options at the same time too, while I was learning futures. So, I was kind of offsetting what I was investing while I was learning. And, the process comes together, and then at the very beginning, it was like full size lots. I used to trade 3 NQ cons when I first started. Like, that's what I was trading. I was trading like 2 to 3 NQ cons. And I was just like, boom, boom, blowing an account. It was like psychological gymnastics. It was like I would sit here at the chart in a freaking leotard. How embarrassing. I was embarrassed, because I was like, what am I doing? I've been here for months and I'm still doing the same thing, and it was just like, no, and I learned really quickly, it's just like, no, size down. And then it became the challenge of how much money can I make with an MNQ con? That's what I like. Because a lot of people can make a lot of, show you all these crazy gains with an NQ con, but to make like $1,000 with a mini micro, I freaking love that. That's a screenshot. When you can take a mini micro, make $1,000 off of it, that's 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 power. Because you know what? That's something you can afford. That's something that you, everybody here that's in the Discord, all of you all could afford to take an MNQ con, because I know all of you all have $50 to $100 you could invest in that. And that's why I've always emphasized it's very important to trade what you can afford. You know, for me, that's the most important thing. You know, we said it yesterday. I was like, it makes no sense in me learning how to fly a helicopter if I can never afford a helicopter. Why would I go take classes to learn how to fly a helicopter if I can't afford a helicopter? It's pointless, you know? Good luck, Nacho. I know you've been good, man. I know you've been good. I know you've come a long way since I first joined. You know, we've got some great traders that have, you know, they've come a long way. I see you guys out there, you know. So definitely post up those P&Ls, you know, those payout certificates. You know, if a coach is helping you all, send them a shout out. You know, we don't get a lot of reaffirmation that, you know, we're helping the community. So, you know, we lean on you guys, you know, that to give us feedback, let us know how we're helping through the intraday, helping you all navigate these waters. You know, I know sometimes it gets a little more in the midday session and we do a little bit more talking, but you know, it's a more difficult time. The volume is not so much as there, and your entries have to be perfect, you know, so we got to wait then, right? If we're looking for a perfect entry, then we have to have patience. Ain't no way Steve left. He's done for the day. He bailed on us. Maybe, man,